Now we'll see internal controls, communication and reports. Communicating internal control related matters that we identify, audit communication with those who charge with governance, reporting and entity internal controls, and in the last we'll see some service outsource organization. This is a very easy chapter in a way that if you are on an audit and you meet with internal auditors, you find some issues related to them. They are protecting the organization, they are creating efficiency and effectiveness. So you can, have observation, you have to report to audit committee and the people who has made this system. So in terms of concept of the chapter, this is pretty much okay. Financial statement auditor is not required to perform procedures specifically to identify deficiencies in internal control, to express an opinion on the internal control. This is, I told you, according to SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley 2002. After 2002, auditor has to add one paragraph about internal control system of the company, right? That's why we do testings, internal control testings. So he says we should identify the significant deficiencies and material weaknesses during our audit. We find out, so we have to inform management and audit committee so they can take effective decisions on that. What is the deficiency? Which is in the system when the design or operation control does not allow management or employee in normal course of their assigned functions to prevent misstatement or correct them on the timely basis. So material means significant, deficiency means weakness, right? This is, we have to see what are the deficiencies. So now we will discuss that, how to communicate with internal control related matters with the management. So first, what is material, significant, weakness, deficiency, or a combination? We should check the reasonable possibility that exists and we should tell it to the management. Now a reasonable possibility means the event is reasonably possible or probable, means it exists today or it can hit you in the future. So like a whistle blowing, we have to tell the management in advance. Now evaluating control deficiencies, we will see how severe it is, means severity, intensity of the deficiencies. If it is too serious, too much impactful, then we will take a quick action on that. There could be three stages. One is some events are really significant, we should immediately report to the management. Some we can wait for the next meeting to do it, right? And some we can put it into our observation. This is how three level of situations can hit you. And this is what he says, magnitude means intensity of this one. And then you can see maximum overstatement ordinarily is the recorded amount, but the understatement may be greater. So sometimes some account will be overstated and some account will be understated, means zero balance of receivable. Generally when we go for audit, we see, okay, there is a zero balance, so we ignore them. So zero balance is also be important. Maybe there is some understatement of these balances. We can't ignore them. Then we will see what is the probability of the misstatement, what are the risk factors associated with this kind of transaction. So these all will determine our capabilities for this. We can see effective compensating controls. What is compensating control? Compensating control means, auditing goes on cost benefit analysis. So if you feel that there are too many auditors, their cost is more and the benefit is less. So what we do is we reduce the number of auditors. We add auditing into next level of hierarchy. So junior auditor work will be checked and signed by senior auditor. Senior auditor work will be signed by audit manager, and this is how it will go on. So this is called compensating controls. You have to see that compensating controls are properly deployed. If yes, it will reduce the deficiencies. If no, then you will find lot of deficiencies. This is what here. What are the indicators of the weaknesses? Means what you will see during the audit and you will say, oh, there is a situation problem. Identification of any fraud by senior management, restatement of financial statement, identification by auditor of a material misstatement that could not have been deducted by internal control. I mean, internal control auditors are doing their job, but they don't know this is happening, So we have a doubt on their competency now because external auditor has found something which is actually the job of them, And ineffective oversight of financial reporting and internal control by those who charge with governance, generally management. So these are some symptoms that we have to keep in consideration. How to communicate means whom to communicate, how to communicate. This is what we should know. Auditor should communicate in writing significant deficiencies. I told you, depend on the intensity. If it is too intense, immediately. If it is less intense, regular time, and otherwise just a observation. So communication is best at the audit report release date, but not later than 60 days after. Then communication of significant and urgent matter during the audit need not to be in writing. So you can immediately approach them and inform that this is the issue. But of course, everything at the end of the day, we have to bring it into a written form. Sometimes we talk on phone and we say, okay, let's agree. And then once you close the phone, you write an email that with reference to our discussion, we have discussed, you are hereby requested to confirm. So once they confirm, it becomes a communication between both parties, and in future we can use them. Written communication, what it should have a purpose of the audit, right? Then you should state the auditor is not expressing an opinion, it's just his observation. State that auditor consideration of internal control was not designed to identify all deficiencies, because we are working on sample basis. During our work we find out some deficiencies, so we report to the management. And we will also include that what is the definition of material weaknesses, so they can also see that what is our point of view and what we define as material weakness, which we just saw in the last few slides.